This is Personal Injury Court.
Good day, everyone. This is the matter of Segal versus Davis. Ms. Segal, it's my understanding that you are suing Mr. Davis for injuries you sustained in your apartment that you rent from him. He didn't make the repairs you requested, and you were injured as a result. You're asking this court to award you $65,000 for past medicals, $25,000 for future medicals, including surgery, $60,000 for lost earnings, $150,000 for pain and suffering, and a total award of $300,000. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Davis, it's your position that she is the author of her own fate. She took chances she shouldn't have taken, and she's responsible for her own injuries.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, let's get into the legal sauce. How did you get to rent this apartment?
Well, Your Honor, I met Arthur, got stuck in the elevator with him. We began talking, and, I was a little nervous, so he helped me, calm me down, and I let on that I was looking for an apartment, and he told me that he owned an apartment building that had a vacancy. So that just seemed like it fell into my lap.
So you owned an apartment building?
Yes, but let me tell you what happened, Your Honor. I'm the landlord and I'm the owner of the building. The only thing I don't understand is why she ain't stated in the testimony that me and her dated for about a year, Your Honor.
First of all, what does that have to do with today? That has nothing to do with today.
Well, is that true? You all did used to date?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Your Honor. We did used to date, but that has nothing to do with today.
Ms. Segal, how long were you in this apartment before this incident?
About 2 years, Your Honor.
And during that 2 years, was it pretty much event-free?
I wouldn't say event-free, but it started getting bad recently.
What?
Well, to be there 2 years, I imagine you were somewhat happy, right?
Yeah, the first year we dated.
Well, y'all know we ain't here about you all's past relationship, right? I appreciate you sharing that with me. Obviously, it means something to you, but from a legal perspective, it doesn't really bear on the issues in this case. So tell me about the incident where you got hurt.
Okay, well, Your Honor, I broke up with him and I met a new man, Big D. That's my baby right there.
Come on, man.
So we went out on a date, and I brought him back to my place. It was, I was ready for, to show him some things. So we're in my living room. We're in my living room, and we're like kissing. So I stop him for a minute, and I said, "Give me a second." I go in the room, get all dolled up and everything, and then I call him into the room. So when he got there, I'm standing in front of my swing. I want to show him just exactly, what I can do. So I get in a swing, and I swing back, forth, maybe one time, and then boom, everything just came down, Your Honor. The ceiling, everything. I landed on my back, my head. There was blood. I couldn't even move. I just remember screaming in agony. And
so the ceiling actually collapsed?
It actually collapsed, Your Honor. It just came down.
Well, when the ceiling came down, are you actually in the swing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is this what the ceiling looked like?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that big piece of that came out there, Mr. Davis. What's going on with that?
I don't even know, Your Honor. I don't even know how that happened, because when we used it, we ain't never had no problems with the sex swing, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Davis, you and Miss Segal actually used this swing before this day?
Yeah.
And y'all didn't have any problems in the past?
He installed it, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
He bought it and he installed it.
So, Mr. Davis, you installed this swing?
You see this right here? In case you missed it, Your Honor, this is not your typical 8-year-old swing. It's a sex swing, Your Honor.
It's an entertainment swing.
Okay, so how does that hang from the ceiling, Mr. Davis?
Just grab this part right here, you grab the bracket, and you hold it up there, and that's it. You ready to go.
Like he knows
but
what
wait
he's
a minute, you don't hold it while you're doing
No,
stuff, right?
no. You gotta attach it to the ceiling. It comes with a bracket.
If it's gonna work right, it doesn't come down, right?
Yeah, and it was working right for a while, so I don't know what happened. It was fun, Your Honor, but it has its weight limit, Your Honor. She was actually smaller when we bought the swing.
Wait a minute. Hey.
About 20, 30 pounds.
We're not gonna go there.
Mistaken,
Okay?
y'all.
I did not gain weight.
Look, we're not gonna go there.
Hey.
Mr. Johnson.
What you on a reverse keto diet or something?
Hey, look.
Mr. Johnson,
Your Honor.
Hey, yo, little D, sit down, little D. Sit down.
we're gonna have order in this courtroom. I've got somebody by my side who's bigger than both of y'all, and he's got a gun. So we're gonna have order in this courtroom.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Davis, one, we're not gonna insult anybody.
I'm a big dude. I'm not trying to make fun of her. I'm just saying she was smaller.
Well,
we bought the
how would
swing.
I know there's a weight limit on that?
I read the instructions before I installed it in the bedroom, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Miss Segal, did you know there was a weight limit on the swing?
Yes, but I'm nowhere near that weight limit.
Okay, so you're sitting in the swing. Mr. Johnson's there. For the record, your name is Damian Johnson, right?
It's Big D, Your Honor.
Well, that's not your legal name, though, right? That's what you go by.
Well, that's what Big D get called.
Okay. All right, Big D.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
What do you remember about this night?
All right, so on the night particularly in question, all right, this was our 91st day of dating. All right, Susan, she had this.
But who's counting, huh?
Well, I counted every day of every minute if you want to know the truth, Your Honor.
Yes,
because
sir.
Susan had this 90-day, you got to wait before you get any type of, you know,
I'm a lady, Your Honor.
I got to
action.
hit her the first time I
We
met
gonna
her,
say
Your Honor.
hoo-ha, okay?
She made him wait.
man,
I had
hold
to hit
on.
her right away. I didn't have to wait.
Don't worry about where Big D go or what Big D does.
Whatever, man.
Stay out of Big D's business. Well, hey,
I'll
you might
say
have
this.
to wait, but you know what I'm saying? Good things come to
Y'all's
those who
waiting
wait.
periods don't concern me, okay? So you're sitting there, Miss Segal gets in the swing, what happens?
Well, she got in the swing, and she did a couple, like 1, 2, then crack! And everything just like came down. It was crazy, Your Honor. The ceiling started coming down, and first thing jumped in Big D's mind was Big D was thinking to save his woman.
And so you went to her rescue.
Right, and I went to her rescue. I got her up out of the rubble. Then first thing Big D did was to call 911.
Did Big D realize that Miss Segal was hurt?
Yes, Your Honor, because the ceiling was on top of her.
Miss Segal, tell me about your injuries. What happened to you?
Well, I mean, I have cracked vertebrae, Your Honor. Even standing here right now, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm depressed about it, and most of all, because the swing came down, we never got to get our freak on, and I can't even do that now.
Miss Segal, you believe it's Mr. Davis's fault because... Why do you think it's his fault?
It's his fault because he wasn't maintaining the building, Your Honor. That building had leaks. I'm not the only one that's had the leaks. I've complained to him about the leaks.
So, Mr. Davis, you got this building. Did you have leaks?
No, first of all, Your Honor, she never mentioned the leak. Let me just
Your
tell
Honor,
you something.
I'm
Your
gonna
Honor.
tell you right now.
She's
lying.
over-demanding, Your Honor. Like, she complains about everything. Like I said,
Your
she's
Honor,
a chronic complainer,
I
Your
text
Honor.
him about the
I mean,
leaks.
did she ever call you about leaks?
No, she never mentioned a leak in the
Your Honor,
Your Honor.
Did you notify him about
I
leaks?
did, and I even texted him. Your Honor, I even brought the text message printed out for you to see.
The text messages don't lie. Sheriff Matt, please get the text messages. Let's see what they are. The green is you, right, Miss Segal?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you send someone, garbage is building up in the trash room? Do you remember getting that, Mr. Davis? That
No, Your Honor.
text?
No, I don't.
All right, but you did write back at one point, no problem. So you got it at some point.
Probably did, Your Honor, and I probably took care of it. That's why I said no problem.
Then the next day, Miss Segal writes, the stain I showed you in the bedroom is getting bigger. Can you please get over here? Did she
Exactly.
show you the stain in the bedroom?
No, Your Honor, I don't know if it was the bed sheet, the floor. I don't know. She didn't tell me what it was, Your Honor.
Well, the
if
stain
she
you're
did-
talking about, Miss Segal, is the one on the ceiling.
Yes, Your Honor, the one right above my swing.
And you never saw a stain near the swing on the ceiling?
Your Honor, if I would have known, I would have came over and I would have took care of
He
it, Your Honor.
knew.
So you didn't have any leak problems in your building?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Davis, you believe that this had nothing to do with the condition of your building or the condition of her apartment. You believe she just simply shouldn't have been using that swing.
Yes, Your Honor. Yeah.
And this is all her fault.
Yes, it is, Your Honor. I even told her to take it down. I wanted to be careful, and she didn't listen.
You want me to take it down because I wasn't using it with you anymore.
Ms. Segal,
Yes,
you
Your
have submitted $65,000 in medical bills to this court.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've obviously got a pretty big financial burden. You're also asking this court for $25,000 for your future medicals. How are you going to pay these bills?
I don't know, Your Honor. I have no idea how I'm supposed to take care of myself. You know, no one plans for this.
With a cracked vertebrae and herniated disc, how do you do your job? I see you're asking for $60,000 for lost wages.
I cannot, Your Honor. I can't drive. I can't. Standing is hurting me, and I can't sit for long periods of time, so I cannot work, Your Honor.
Mr. Davis, you see that this is a life impact.
I understand, Your Honor, but I'm not at fault.
What does Big D think about this experience?
Your Honor, how can he not be at fault when not only did he install it, it's his building, and for not the upkeep of it.
Well, let me give you a legal lesson, though. Simply because something happens in your building, that fact alone does not mean that Mr. Davis is responsible. What I've got to figure out as the judge is this event, is it caused by something he failed to do or didn't do correctly? Now, Ms. Segal, obviously these sex swings have some limitations. Were you paying attention at all as to whether there was a weight limit on this one?
Yes, Your Honor. I knew it was 300 pounds, and I'm nowhere near 300 pounds.
Now, Big D didn't get in this sex swing,
No,
right?
Your Honor. This is a single sex swing.
Big D ain't made to be in the swing.
Your Honor, they purposely, deliberately damaged that ceiling, Your Honor.
Somebody gonna...
You think I would do this to myself?
I got my
damage
on my
for
face?
what?
How so?
Your Honor, she had called me talking about she had gotten a new job in a new city, and if I can let her out of a lease early, and I have a voicemail to prove it, Your Honor.
Well, you have submitted that audio to this court.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you think she went through this whole thing just to get out of her lease?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, let's listen to the audio.
Never do that.
Hey, it's me, Sue. So, I'm calling because I may have just snagged this banging new job in Vegas.
Vegas?
So, I was wondering if you could help me out by, I don't know, letting me out of the last 4 months of my lease. Anyway, give me a call when you get this message. Thanks. Bye.
So you wasn't gonna tell Big D about none of this?
We were gonna talk about that.
Oh, she didn't tell you.
No, don't start stuttering.
All this stuff happened.
When we're finished, we'll send y'all to couples court. Ms. Segal, you were trying to get out of your lease, right?
Your Honor, I was trying to get out because of the leaks, Your Honor. I kept telling him about the leaks, and he would never come check it.
Your Honor.
But you admit you wanted to get out early so you could head out to Vegas. Even Big D is surprised by that.
But my new job wouldn't start until
didn't
2 weeks
invest
before my
too much
lease was up anyway.
Mr. Davis, you think she would go through all this and tear your place up just to get out of a lease? Why not just leave?
Your Honor, she probably pulled the damn swing down, Your Honor.
Oh, so now I'm Popeye? I got strength like that?
Probably you and Big D over here. That's probably why you got him.
Wait a minute. Hold on, listen. This is what I want. I can't believe Big D didn't invested all this time into you.
Wait, we're not here about that.
I did 91 days first. Now
We're not here about that.
I did 91 minutes.
Big D is just derailed, sideswiped or something. Big D don't know how to take this right now.
We haven't had a chance to talk about it.
I'm done. Big D can't take this.
Goodbye, Big D.
You all alone now, huh?
Miss Segal, did you pull this swing down and try to get out of your lease?
No, Your Honor. Who would do this to themselves? I have a deposition from my neighbor who saw the stain that I told him about in the text.
Sheriff Matt, will you retrieve the deposition from Miss Segal? Let me take a peek at it. This is a statement from Miss Betty Johnson, apartment 3D, and it reads, I saw the water stain on Miss Segal's ceiling. It was up around the swing. I was shocked that she was into that sort of thing, but that's none of my business. The water stain was pretty bad. It looked similar to the one I had a few years ago. I was lucky the building inspector saw mine and told me that I wasn't the only one with the problem. They promised they were all going to be fixed.
And they were,
Y'all did have a leak problem in this building, Mr. Davis?
Your Honor, I fixed it.
Is this lady lying too?
I fixed it, Your Honor.
So you fixed it?
Yes, Your Honor.
But mine
I fixed
wasn't.
it.
All right,
Never told me about a leak in your ceiling.
If you had known about the leak, would you have fixed it?
If she would have told me, I would have fixed it.
Folks, I think I've heard what I need to hear.
Really?
I'm ready to render my decision. This, like every other personal injury case that I've done as a judge, requires that the plaintiff prove three things. You have to prove that Mr. Davis did something wrong or failed to do something. Okay. You have to prove that his wrong caused your injuries. Clearly, you were injured. You've put evidence before this court that show that you've got some pretty severe back injuries.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Davis, you don't believe that this is your fault because you say you didn't know about the stains on the ceiling and the leaks in the building.
Yes, Your Honor.
If there ever was a case where the legal concept of comparative negligence applies, it is this one. Here, you as the landowner, as the landlord, have responsibilities to keep your place in good repair, but only as to those things that you know are defects or you should have known are defects. You should, in a reasonable time, address those and keep your tenant safe. You, Ms. Segal, have the responsibility of putting him on notice, but also of taking care of yourself. I think you have proven Mr. Davis is wrong. That is, you should have taken this swing down. This does not crash like this because a bolt came out. This swing failed and that ceiling failed because you had a history of leaks. I find you've proven his wrong.
Thank you.
But he's not the only one wrong. You had an opportunity to avoid this whole thing because you saw the stains too. You had been in that swing. You knew other people were complaining. In this case, I find, Mr. Davis, that you are 2/3 wrong. Miss Segal, you are 1/3 wrong, but because you're 1/3 responsible, I'm giving you 2/3 of what you ask. I find in your favor for $200,000 against Mr. Davis. That's my final verdict, and this matter is adjourned.
Wow.
Thank you, Your Honor. Pay up.
Mr. Larson, it's this court's understanding that you are suing Ms. Reinhardt and Ms. Clarkson for $2.4 million for past medical bills, $100,000 for future medical bills, and $2.5 million for pain and suffering, for a total of $5 million. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Reinhardt, Ms. Clarkson, you all believe that his injuries are his fault. That is, you provided a concert, he was injured, he got what he paid for.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, now let's get into the legal sauce. Mr. Larson, tell me how you got to go into this concert.
Well, Your Honor, me and my girlfriend have been dating for 2 years now. We met at a video game convention 2 years ago, and we shared similar interests.
Both you all are music lovers?
Yes. I'm also a pro gamer, so I play video games competitively and sometimes for stream online.
You get paid to play games?
Yes,
okay.
Your Honor.
All right.
And so we were wanting to do something special for our 2-year anniversary, and we have never been to an Epik Starr concert together. Epik Starr is my favorite artist ever. I've been to well over 10 Epik Starr concerts in the past.
So you really like Epik Starr?
Yes.
Ms. Starr, that's gotta feel good.
Yes.
To have fans who love you like that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I just love the way she talks about love and peace in her music.
So she really connects with you with the music.
Yes, and I think she connects with a lot of her fans. When you go to her concerts, they're energetic events. You go and everyone is full of energy.
Ms. Clarkson, you're the owner of this venue, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you have these kind of concerts all the time?
All the time. We actually really wanted Miss Epik Starr to come and perform because it was her American tour. It was the last leg. It's a pretty height type of atmosphere, so it was standing room only. And she did an amazing job.
So, Ms. Starr, you're expecting all these fans out there, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
People who love you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Does it ever get old for you?
No, it doesn't. My most important thing is to make sure my fans are happy. Like he said, I'm about peace, love, and, just connecting with my fans. And that's the most important part to me, making sure everyone's safe and everyone's having a great time, pretty much.
And you mentioned safe. I imagine when you realized that this young man was injured, it kind of got to you.
Yes, Your Honor, because like I said, I do care about my fans, so it does bother me that he is injured.
So, Mr. Larson, you and your girlfriend, you go to the venue. Where do you decide to stand?
Well, we wanted to get as close to the front of the stage as possible because seeing her up in person, she really brings the energy to the whole crowd.
She's got a good show.
Yes, exactly. And she has this signature move she does near the end of every concert.
Signature move?
Yes, where she stage dives off the concert and then crowd surfs around for a while.
Tell me how it happens and what do you do?
At every single one of my concerts, I always do the stage dive or crowd surf.
Okay.
At every single one of them. Like he said, he's been to 10 to 20 of my concerts, so he knows this, that's
you do it every time?
Every single one of them.
This is what my middle son calls the hype move.
Yes, they love it, and that's why I do it every single one, because like I said, it's about pleasing them. So they love when I do it. Everyone knows, so it's an awesome time. They know that I'm coming because I say, like, 3, 2, 1, here I come, like, so that they know that they're ready
so like
for me
3,
to come out.
2, 1,
yeah, and then here I come, and then I jump out, and then, they know that I'm coming. They know to be careful and to pay attention, catch me and everything, yeah.
Okay, and that's what you anticipated, Mr. Larson? That she was going to jump off the stage?
Absolutely. We were trying to
Tell me how you got hurt.
Well, Your Honor, we knew that at the very end of the concert, Epik Starr does her signature stage dive. And since we knew that was coming, we were hoping to get out a little early to avoid the crowds when we were leaving the concert hall. And so we were on our way out. I turned around and suddenly I feel a sharp pain in the back of my neck.
Now, when you turned, did you turn away from the stage?
Yes, Your Honor,
Okay.
towards the exits.
So what happened next after you turned?
I felt the sharp pain in the back of my neck, and it crumpled me over. My girlfriend came over to see if I was all right. And when I turned around, I saw that Epik Starr had kicked me in the back of the head.
If you were turned around, there's no way you could see if I kicked you.
So, Ms. Starr, do you remember this event?
No, I do not recall this at all.
Ms. Clarkson, were you there?
I was there.
What do
Your
you
Honor-
remember?
Your Honor, I did not see the kick. However, I did see him fall down. I sent over the head of security. He's been with me 10 years. I trust him. And I went over to see if he was okay. He stated that he was fine, that nothing was hurt, that he was okay.
So, Mr.
and
Larson, at
left.
that time, you were okay.
Yes.
You
at
felt the pain, but you weren't
At
feeling
the
much
time,
more
it
than
seemed like a minor injury at best. I was with my girlfriend. I didn't want to seem like a wimp needing help out of the theater. But by the time we got to our car, I was having such an excruciating headache that I didn't feel safe driving anymore.
And this was caused by the stage dive?
Yeah.
Ms. Starr, look at the plasma here. This is kind of, is this the way it happens?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is
it
this how you end up when you connect with the crowd?
Yes, Your Honor, it is. That's why I don't see how there's any way that I could have kicked him. How high they hold me up. Like I said, I say 3, 2, 1, here I come. They know I'm coming, so they hold it up. That way it's all safe.
Okay, so Ms. Starr jumps off the stage. You feel an impact to the back of your head. Then what happens?
Well, Your Honor, the next day I woke up with continued severe head pain and whiplash.
And you didn't feel this the night before when you were at the concert?
No, it got much worse overnight. And when I finally decided to do something about it, my girlfriend took me to the ER, and the doctors confirmed that I had whiplash from a blunt force trauma to the back of my head. The headaches were included in that. The doctor gave me a neck brace and told me to keep an eye on things, but it didn't get better after that.
Your Honor.
In fact, 10 days later, I suffered a stroke.
For the record, how old are you?
24 years old, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
And you believe this stroke was caused by this stage dive?
Yes, the doctor that I saw after
And
my
the kick
stroke.
in your head?
Yes.
And he said that he had this 10 days later, so I don't get how that has anything to do with my concert. I'm sorry that it happened to you. It's a terrible thing, especially at your age, but it wasn't my fault if it happened 10 days after.
Your Honor, I would like to point out that I do have a witness to the kick in the back of my head.
Okay.
While I had turned around to leave, my girlfriend was still behind me,
and I see
watching Epik Starr.
That you brought your girlfriend?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could you please step to the podium so I can hear from you, because I want to hear what you saw. For the record, what is your name?
My name is Gina McNeil.
Now, Miss McNeil, you were at the concert with Mr. Larson, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me what you saw.
I saw Epik Starr kick him in the back of the head.
That is not true.
It's
But-
exactly true.
I didn't kick him.
Excuse
Obviously,
me,
you're going to take your
The
boyfriend's
security
side.
guard watched it
Folks, we need to have order. We need to have order. Please continue, Miss McNeil.
Yes, Your Honor. So he was definitely in pain. The security guard also witnessed it happen along with myself. I also have proof of the text messages he sent me the next morning. Excuse me, I'm talking.
Ma'am.
So the
What's your
next
point?
morning, he texted me talking about headaches and trouble breathing and chest pains. And
Your
I
Honor.
But that's
brought
not
that
proof
up
that, that's not proof
today.
that I did it.
So
That's not proof that I
you
did.
said you have a text message with you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sheriff Matt, could you retrieve that from Miss McNeil?
Your Honor, while you're waiting on that text message, you heard the Mr.
you.
Larson state that we offered him.
So, Miss
medical
McNeil, this is the
treatment.
text message that you received?
Yes, Your Honor.
This was the day after this concert?
The morning after.
And this is what you received. It reads, "Hey, babe, that kick really blanked me up. I have terrible whiplash and my chest hurts. I'm going to take a nap. I'll call you when I wake up."
That's ridiculous.
Now, 10 days later, you have a stroke.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me how that developed. What happened? How did you know something had changed?
Well, the headache kept getting increasingly worse as the time went on. And another symptom that I started experiencing was trouble breathing. And these just progressed and continued progressing, clearly to the point where I had a stroke.
I really am sorry.
Ms. Clarkson, you look like you are in pain. Tell me what's on your mind.
I'm just really baffled at the timeline.
What bugs you is the 10 days.
That and the fact that we offered him, we did our due diligence. We
Yes,
followed
ma'am.
protocol. So for
But
him
it
to
can't
come out.
really surprise you that someone would get injured when a person jumped from the stage on
Actually, it
stage.
really does.
I
Right?
actually have
It actually does.
Your Honor, I have the shoes I was wearing that night. They're fuzzy boots. I can show you. And there's no way something like this
So Mr. Larson,
could have caused him
you were
any
kicked with
trauma
that
to his
boot?
head.
I was kicked with that boot with a person wearing it.
Large
very
person.
petite.
Sheriff Matt, would you retrieve that boot for me?
That hurts.
Let me see the boot.
Your attitude hurts, honey.
And Matt, I'm telling you, it's not your size, okay?
A little bit too small, Your Honor.
Now, as I feel on this boot, there's a lot of padding. This is what you were kicked with?
With someone's foot inside of it, yes.
And
Foot
Miss McNeil-
collided with the back of my neck.
This boot hitting him in the back of the head is what you remember.
Yes, Your Honor.
She gave them a here I come.
Why
would you turn
Here I
around?
come.
Mr. Larson, did you hear, here I come? Well, let me ask you this. Had you heard it in the past at Miss Starr's concert?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you know the dive is coming.
Yes, Your Honor.
Exactly.
Did you hear it that night?
Your Honor, I did hear the
Thank you.
"Here I come" coming
you.
from the
And you
stage.
By the
Turn
time you're
around.
walking out, it all happened so fast.
And he
But-
chose to turn
exactly.
around.
But that
I was
exactly,
already
that was his
turned
choice to turn
around.
around. But I never hit anyone. Someone else could have hit
Yes,
you.
you did.
You
Folks,
heard, here I come,
folks-
and you had the precaution.
Order in this court. We'll have order in this court.
Why would he turn
One
around?
of the problems you all are having with this is that there's a 10-day delay between the concert and the stroke. This court consulted a doctor
Okay.
who's going to give us some light on this 10-day delay.
Alrighty.
Sheriff Matt, will you go get Dr. Vaughn?
Sure.
Dr. Vaughn, come on in.
Thank you.
So, doctor, for the record, state your name, please.
My name is Dr. Neelam Vaughn.
Dr. Vaughn, could you please explain the plaintiff's injuries?
It appears that Mr. Larson suffered from a blunt force trauma to the back of his head and later suffered from a vertebral artery dissection.
Doctor, explain what happens to the body when a person is having a stroke.
So you have an injured vessel, you have blood going through, and it either gets stopped all the way and blocks the artery, or it goes through very slowly. What happens is that you can't have enough oxygen in your brain, which you need for it to keep functioning. See that area right there, all that black area? That's dead tissue from a lack of oxygen, which is what we know as a stroke.
Once the tissue dies, what happens to the brain?
All that brain, that corresponds to things in your body.
So basically, how your body is damaged depends on how much your brain is damaged.
Absolutely, and where it's damaged.
Now, doctor, here, 10 days from day one when he's hitting the back of the head to the time of the stroke, is that possible?
Yes, it's possible. In fact, it's likely.
Thank you, doctor.
My pleasure.
You are released. Mr. Larson, obviously, these injuries have been pretty difficult for you.
Your Honor, for me, these injuries are life-changing. I make my money playing video games, and I need both my arms in order to play games properly. For me, this is game over.
It is not game over. This is a new game beginning. This is a challenge, but your injuries do not define you in any way. You still have a very bright future, and it's time to get excited about the new normal. So things are going to be okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I think I've heard enough. I'm ready to render my decision. In every personal injury case, there are three elements. The plaintiff, the people suing, you, Mr. Larson, must prove that your injuries were caused by something they did wrong. That is, wrong caused injury. Here, you decided to go to a concert with your girlfriend. You did not expect to have a life-changing event, and here we are. You all expected kind of the same thing, to have the last leg of your tour be triumphant with this stage dive, and that your forum hosted yet another successful event. The problem is something obviously went wrong. Here, Mr. Larson, You kind of knew she was going to jump off the stage. In fact, how she was going to do it, because you heard, "Here I come." Mr. Larson, you were aware that there was a risk of injury. Here you understood she was going to dive off the stage, and I find that that makes you partially responsible for this. But I find that you all are mostly responsible for it, because this whole thing could have been prevented if you hadn't dived off the stage. Just common sense that when you dive off a stage, even a petite woman like yourself, someone can get hurt. Someone did get hurt. Mr. Larson, you are suing Ms. Reinhardt and Ms. Clarkson for $5 million.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Larson, I'm not giving you the full $5 million because you are partially responsible. And I find that you are 20% responsible for your injuries. Ms. Reinhardt, Ms. Clarkson, I find that each of you is 40% responsible for Mr. Larson's injuries. And in that regard, Mr. Larson, I'm not giving you $5 million, but I am awarding you $4 million against these defendants. That is my final decision, and this matter is adjourned. Mr. James, it's my understanding you're suing Ms. Sutton for injuries that you sustained while you were at a music festival that Ms. Sutton put on. You're asking this court to award you $10,000 for your past medical expenses, $5,000 for future medical expenses, $20,000 for lost wages, and $250,000 for pain and suffering, for a total award of $285,000. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Sutton, your response to this is very simple. If he had left the music festival when everybody else did, he never would have been hurt, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, let's get into the legal sauce. What brings you to a music festival?
I'd recently won a contest via the radio that granted me a ticket along with a backstage pass.
Okay.
For a meet and greet VIP after the concert had ended. So I drove separately to meet up with my friends and stayed about an hour and a half after the concert before I was preparing to leave.
Okay. Now, Ms. Sutton, you put on music festivals.
Yes.
Tell me about them.
Sure. I've been in the music and entertainment industry for over 20 years. We do loads of outdoor festivals. They're always sold out. They're very popular. As a matter of fact, all the radio stations love them.
All kinds of music?
With them. Absolutely, all kinds of music. I oversee and I manage all of the logistics of the venue, the artists, the parking, and all the surrounding public areas.
So from the piano to the portable toilets, you manage it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're getting all kinds of people, but pretty much some of the things are the same. People have to use the bathroom, right, at a festival?
Absolutely, which we provide as a courtesy to our attendees.
Okay, you ever had a problem with your portable toilets before?
Never.
So, Mr. James, tell me how this happened.
Well, Your Honor, I was staying after the concert about an hour and a half. As anyone else would, who was granted a backstage pass. I was hanging out with the band, enjoying myself. Had a few drinks, yes, had something to eat. So as I was preparing to make the long ride home, I elected to use the restroom and a portable toilet that was placed right near the parking lot. As I entered the portable toilet and attended to my business, I was sitting on the toilet when all of a sudden I heard a truck fire up.
Okay.
And I noticed
you heard the engine of the truck?
Yes, sir, that is correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
Didn't think anything of it at the time. Figured they were leaving the premises, doing their job. Noticed it getting closer before I noticed a loud thud.
Okay.
Immediately knew it was occurring. Dreaded the situation as I saw it happening before my eyes. The portable toilet topped backwards, slamming into the ground. I immediately snapped my neck, whipping my head into the ground, which caused the concussion. I was covered in not only human waste, but also this blue chemical from the portable toilet. Head to toe, in my mouth, in my nose. It was mortifying. If you can only imagine, throughout the entire days of this festival, the entire night, you gotta think I was one of the last ones there with my backstage pass. The
toilet was full.
The amount of human traffic that had entered into that toilet before I entered in it. It makes me want to throw up just to imagine, as you can see. Constant human traffic in and out of there before I'd entered.
That's a lot of folks.
That's correct.
And a lot of use.
That's correct.
I have to admit this. There have been times I've been in one of those portable toilets and I see that stuff down there and I say, what if you fell in there? I guess it's no longer hypothetical. This stuff was all over you.
This will be the last time I ever use a portable toilet in my life, Your Honor.
So, Miss Sutton, obviously you want folks to use the portable toilet.
Yes, of course.
How do you protect against somebody pushing it over and knocking it over?
Well, we've never had that incident, and as you can see, they're situated on a level ground.
Okay.
I wasn't advised of the situation until about a half hour after it occurred, although it's very unfortunate that this happened to him, and we're extremely sorry, but we didn't do it.
Well, but this isn't his fault. You're not saying this is his fault. He was simply trying to make a deposit, right?
But was
Sounds
he?
like she is, Your
But
Honor.
was he? He was there long after that concert and the festival had ended.
So he talked about being there with the band. Why'd you stay so late?
No one told me I was supposed to leave the premises, Your Honor. I had no one warning me of any time I needed to leave. I had no one warning me that these portable toilets were in danger of using. So to my knowledge, they were there for the use of the customers, as they always were the entire day.
Well, doesn't most of the people leaving kind of give you a clue it's time to go?
I was enjoying myself.
Your Honor,
It's not every day you win a contest like this, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
I was using my right
However,
with this VIP backstage pass.
Your Honor, I've submitted
ma'am.
as an exhibit our concert schedule. It's our official schedule showing that the concert ended at midnight.
Yes, ma'am. Let's take a look
And
at it
this
here.
gentleman here, this incident took place at 2 a.m.
This is the concert call sheet, so people try to stay on schedule with this, right?
Yes,
So 11
absolutely.
p.m. is final set, and then 12 a.m., that is midnight.
Yes.
Wrap, strike venue. Is that when folks are supposed to leave?
Well, that's about when the meet and greet is, 15 minutes max. Those artists are tired. They played all night long. They do a quick picture of the handful of people that had the backstage pass, and they are out of there on their road. And by 2 o'clock, all my people are gone.
It was not 2 hours after the concert had ended. It was an hour and a half max, just so we're clear.
You do acknowledge, though, that you stayed quite a bit after midnight, right?
Not the time frame that she is exhibiting here. That is incorrect. No, that's not true. She's
Well,
wrong.
what do you remember? How long did you stay?
It was an hour and a half max, Your Honor.
Okay, so
and like
that-
I said, no
that
one
takes
had
you
told
to
me I needed leave the
1:30, right?
premises. Correct.
Okay. Now, is it that weird that people stay an hour and a half, Miss Sutton?
Oh, absolutely, especially because our parking lot was 95% empty.
Well, 95% means that...
The other 5% was probably my employees, and
Okay.
maybe him and his friends.
So tell me about your injuries.
Yes, Your Honor. On impact, I suffered whiplash and a severe concussion from my head smacking the ground. Along with being covered with this blue chemical, I was covered in human excrement, which gave me hepatitis A.
So some of this stuff got in your mouth and your eyes?
That
and
is, I
things?
was head to toe, Your Honor. Head to toe, completely covered, and I could not avoid hepatitis A, which has caused my skin and my eyes to turn yellow.
Yeah, your medical records that you submitted show that you were jaundiced and had quite an infection.
That's correct, Your Honor. I've been in severe pain since the incident. Aside from the neck brace, the hepatitis A has caused severe liver pain. My eyes, like I said, have been burnt yellow. My urine has turned the color of coffee, Your Honor.
Well, your medical records indicate that your internal organs were definitely affected.
That's correct.
So it sounds like, though, the hepatitis is worse than the whiplash.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Miss Sutton, a portable toilet getting knocked over, that is an odd event for one of your concerts, right?
Correct. But nonetheless, this is not our fault. He should not have been there at this time.
It's not your fault. That's your excuse? That is your excuse.
We
Talk
didn't
to
knock
me,
it over.
folks.
We have no idea who did it.
Well, it happened at your event.
Sure.
In one of your portable toilets. He clearly didn't do anything to knock it over.
I don't know
Your Honor,
who
she
he was
needs to take
involved-
responsibility for this, for everything that's occurred to me.
We have parking attendants directing traffic 45 minutes after the concert ended, and as I stated, that parking lot was 95% empty when this happened.
Your Honor, I received no verbal, no sign warning that these portable toilets were in any danger of using.
Because they weren't.
If I had, I would not have used them.
You're asking this court to award you $250,000 for pain and suffering. What's been the worst part of this?
To be honest, I think that $250,000 is taking it easy. The worst part has been being covered in human excrement with my pants at my ankles. It was the most mortifying moment of my entire life.
Mr. James, you mentioned hepatitis A. To understand this disease, this court has consulted Dr. Asma Khalid. Sheriff, will you get Dr. Khalid?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hello, doctor. Will you please explain the nature of the disease that Mr. James contracted in this accident?
Hepatitis A is a virus that's highly contagious. It's usually spread person to person, fecal-oral route, such as changing dirty diapers or handling contaminated foods. So the liver is located in the upper right quadrant of your abdomen. It's essentially a huge filtration system that takes blood from your body and filters it through the hepatocytes, which are liver cells. Blood passes through, takes foods and nutrients as well as toxins or bacteria and virus. Now, the hepatitis A virus passes through the blood, filters through the hepatocytes, but once it's inside the hepatocytes, it infects the liver cells and causes them to become inflamed. They obviously don't handle that very well, and you develop some scar tissue, causing the whole liver to become inflamed and enlarged.
So why does your skin get yellow?
It's basically called jaundice.
Okay.
And just like, a newborn has jaundice, and the hepatocytes release a chemical, and it basically spreads through your blood, causing your skin to turn yellow.
Doctor, thank you. You are released.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I can say with 100% confidence that Miss Sutton is 100% responsible for what happened to me.
Mr. James, how do you know that one of Miss Sutton's employees hit this portable toilet?
Your Honor, I have a diagram to explain how the incident occurred in the parking lot.
All right, well, let's put your diagram up on the plasma. You submitted that to the court. Why don't you go over and show me how you think this happened?
Upon entering the portable toilet, that these two trucks were placed right here before entering. As I did, I heard this truck fire up and then immediately begin to reverse back towards me.
How'd you know it was in reverse?
Circumstantial evidence,
The beep,
Your
and I could
Honor.
tell it was getting close to me, Your Honor.
This is hearsay.
It got louder and louder.
So that backup beep got closer to you?
Correct.
All right.
And it was before I could even put it together that all of a sudden, it hit this portable toilet, knocked it on its back, in which then I slammed into the ground following it.
This is
and
all
immediately
circumstantial.
Immediately was covered with human
He
excrement
has
waste.
absolutely no proof that it was one of my trucks or a truck at all.
Now, hold on for a minute. These trucks weren't concert goers, right?
No.
They were production.
This wasn't a truckers' convention.
My production trucks were parked out in front, but towards closing, they began to leave.
So I kicked my way out, almost like my own coffin, Your Honor, covered in this waste, managed to pull my pants up and realized the truck was completely gone off the premises.
Now, for the record, Miss Sutton, all 6 of these trucks that were on that diagram are your production trucks, right?
Correct.
Driven by your employees, correct?
Correct. For all 20 years, we've been doing this and never had an issue. That's hearsay. You cannot have him have that photo in there. He has no idea that was one of our trucks.
I'm confident, Your Honor. Like I said, I distinctly remember 2 trucks being placed in front of the portable toilets. As I exited it, there was only one.
You can return to the podium. You keep throwing around the term circumstantial evidence.
Yes, because he's giving us evidence that he says, I know for a fact, without a fact.
Well, let me tell you about evidence. In a courtroom, there are really 2 kinds of evidence. There's direct evidence and then circumstantial evidence. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that circumstantial evidence is of a weaker, less reliable source. It is not. Circumstantial evidence is direct evidence that indicates a certain fact. For example, if a person walks through the snow and you see them walk through the snow, you can testify, I saw someone walk through the snow. That's direct evidence. However, if you go to that same snow and you see my size 13 footprints all the way up to my motorcycle and I'm sitting on the motorcycle, that's circumstantial evidence that I walked through the snow. They are of equal value.
There's no proof that I did. We have a natural barrier of our trucks placed out so no accidents like this would happen.
There was no natural barrier. There was no verbal, no sign warning me of any danger using these.
Park in front of the portable toilets to act as a shield, preventing anything to interfere with them.
I was covered in literal human because of her, Your Honor. Human waste and this blue chemical.
Be careful about your language. I understand what you're covered with, but we got to call it a different name. Folks, I think I've heard what I need to hear. I'm ready to render my decision. When I was a young lawyer, I used to think that lawsuits were simple, particularly personal injury lawsuits, because all the plaintiff has to prove is that someone did something wrong. That is, you'd have to prove Ms. Sutton did something wrong, or one of her employees, and that their wrong caused your injury. Hardly ever does it turn out to be simple in the many cases I presided over. But this one is simple. You're responsible for your employees' actions under a doctrine called respondeat superior. It simply means that the master must answer for the actions of the servant. Here, if your driver backed into that portable toilet, you pay the bill. Let's look at the evidence. We don't have direct evidence of who backed into this portable toilet, but the circumstantial evidence is this. While you're sitting in this portable toilet, you hear a truck engine fire up.
Correct.
That's a very distinct sound. You then hear the beeping, the reverse safety signal of the truck backing up, and it's getting closer to you. And your portable toilet flips over, and so does your life. That circumstantial evidence is superior weight of who backed into this portable toilet. I am convinced it was one of your employees that backed into this toilet. And because of that, I find in your favor, and I'm going to give you everything that you asked for. I'm awarding you $10,000 for your past medicals, $5,000 for your future medicals, $20,000 for your lost wages, and $250,000 for your pain and suffering, for a total award for you and against the defendant for $285,000. That's my final award, and this matter is adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.